Hi, and welcome back to Digitize the Philippines. On previous videos, we talked about introduction to AdWords, introductions to search marketing, and an introduction to SEO. But today, what I want to talk to you about are the 4 golden rules of Google that we follow. And you may have heard some of these rules, and I'll try to keep them brief so that they're easy to digest. Now, a lot of you may have heard Google rule number 1. And if you haven't guessed it yet, Google rule number 1 is don't be evil, right? I think you guys have heard all of this before. So Google rule number 1 is don't be evil. And what this essentially says is, stay away from connections from gambling, from pornography, from controlled substance or substance abuse and whatnot. But, essentially as a general mantra, it's a good mantra to live by whenever you're optimizing your website. You don't really want to build a website in an attempt of malice, right? So Google says, don't be evil. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, Google has managed to be the dominant search engine on the planet, owning more than 60% of search share for one reason and one reason alone. They are better than anybody else when it comes to providing you the most relevant result for your search. So Google rule number 2 is, you searched and you found what you were looking for. This is the one thing that Google is better at versus everybody else. Google rule number 3, build for the user. Build for the user simply means, try to make your website quality. Try to give your users a great experience. Don't try to build for bots. Don't try to build for the search engine. Don't try to build for the algorithm. Write content that genuinely speaks about what your brand is, what its unique selling propositions are, why customers should try your products or services, and why they should remain loyal to you. More than that, give them a great experience. From a technical perspective, make your website technically superior, make your pages load fast, fill it with rich content. These are examples of building for the user. An example of a website that's got great user experience locally would be Lazada. And an example of a really great website to use is Amazon, right? It's got all of it. It's not an evil website. You find the products that you want, and the website is fast, it's secure, and it's got tons of user-generated content that vouch for the trust of the people that have used the service before. The last one is Google rule number 4, which is beware of cheap SEOs. I'm kidding. Google rule number 4 is don't game the algorithm. Now, what's gaming the algorithm? SEOs spend a lot of time, me personally, I spend a lot of time, like hundreds of hours on any given year, trying to study how the algorithm works, where its tolerance levels are, not in an attempt to game the algorithm, but in order to understand it better. But I'm not the only SEO that does that. A lot of SEOs will try to figure out things that Google likes algorithmically, and then apply that onto your website in an imbalanced way. So I'm talking about SEOs that might stuff your website with keywords, SEOs that might stuff your website with automated links, SEOs that might buy links for your websites, all of which violate Google's webmaster quality guidelines. So in short, you're not really saving money, you are ultimately throwing money down the drain. So if you want to be relevant for an organic search result, follow Google's 4 simple rules. Rule number 1, don't be evil. Rule number 2, be better than everybody else when somebody does a search for your niche, your vertical, your product, your service. Rule number 3, care deeply about your user. Always build for your users. Don't build for algorithms. They can't become your customers. And rule number 4, don't game the algorithm. That's it for this session of Digitize the Philippines. Thank you very much for joining me. If you like this video, click the subscribe button. And until then, let's get digitized.